One of the major things I help people with is pricing. It seems so simple. Look at the competition, price a little bit less than them, and that's called a bargain. No, that's an absolute rip-off. It's got nothing to do with value. And what we do as business owners, we don't really look at a financial strategy or an actual solution to pricing. We think of just copying the competition. Well, working with many business owners, I'll tell you this. Everybody that prices this way is making a mistake, because what we do is we look at the competition thinking that they're actually not broke and that they're profitable. And a lot of the times they're broke. They're actually going out of business. Look around you. See how many business owners and businesses fail within 5 years. I mean, this is common knowledge that a business doesn't last past 5 years. And this is one of the main reasons they don't charge enough. So if you have a pricing problem, the thing to do is to not look at your price, but to look at your value. What is the value that you're offering your clients? And how do you offer a value that is surpassing your competition? That is where we look at. And then pricing almost doesn't matter. At the same time, I want to be very competitive with my prices, meaning I want to be in the market in the right place where I'm not the most expensive necessarily, but certainly not the cheapest. I want to be just under the most expensive or the most expensive. I think that is the right place to be as a business owner. Now, how do we get to being the most expensive? In the services industry and these kind of places, it's quite easy because you can decide exactly what you want to deliver. So for example, in my business as a business consultant or coach, I pride myself at being one of the most expensive people in the industry. I'm not the most expensive, but I'm probably in the ballpark of the most expensive, because I see my clients twice a week for an entire year. Because I do this, I'm more valuable. Therefore, I can charge expensive prices. And other guys can't compete with that. So if I look at my competition, although their rates might differ, I give more value because I see my clients twice a week, as opposed to maybe once a month or once a month in person or once a week on their premises when they maybe are there or not even there. I see my clients twice a week. And because I do this, I'm considered more valuable. Therefore, I can charge more. Now, how do I do this in a product industry or in a commodity industry? For example, steel, or in tender processing with government, or on a mining setup, farming setups, there it's very hard to charge more than the competition. In some cases, like with commodities, you're actually limited by the sort of industry you're in on exactly how much you can charge. So you can't just increase the price of your, let's say, meat products, because you have to compete with the rest. So how do we add more value? That's the question. How do I make 10 times more money? How do I charge 10 times more per invoice? That's the key. That's what I'm trying to get at. So what I'm trying to look at is when I invoice, and let's take something very, very simple, beef. We are selling beef. What is beef? Meat from a cow. Okay, beef. So if we're selling this, it's very easy to look at the supermarkets and the farming buyers and these kind of guys that say, we will give you this rate for your meat. This is almost impossible to compete with, right? But if I look at my invoice as a whole and say, okay, well, hang on. If I transport my own meat to the location of the seller, what can I charge for that? Okay, that could increase your premium. Okay, what else can I add into this? Can I add a consulting package to this person? Can I say, I will give you meat and transport it to your location, but before we do any of that, let's do a diagnosis on exactly what products sell the best in your area, and then I provide that to his area, and I actually help him improve his business. That could be another way to increase this. So these are the kind of things one should look at. It isn't what the competition is doing only, although that's only a slight part of it, 1/10 at best. I want to actually look at being the most expensive industry by looking at value. Now, the final thing I will say on pricing and improving and actually curing your pricing problems is simply the following. What I want to do with my pricing is I want to make sure that I have 3 or 4 different items planned for in my price from the outset, from the start. One of them is profit. The second of them is marketing. The third one of them is operating expenses. And the fourth is expansion. So I want to plan for these 4 things from my pricing already. I don't want to just have a price by saying my competition sells at 1,000 Rand, so I'm going to sell at 900 Rand. That's value. No. I first look at what do I need in my business to be viable. If I know what I'm being viable at in my own business, for example, if I sell at 1,000 Rand, do I have enough in this rands, in this 1,000 Rand, to have profit of 10% on my general selling? Do I have enough for marketing? Another 10%? Do I have 10% that I'm just putting aside to invest? And then I want to run the rest of my company and what's left. For example, the 70%. So when I look at my pricing, I look at these things together. To summarize, what is the value I bring to the table? And I want to add things to this. Things that maybe aren't directly competitive, but it adds my total invoice amount, or adds to my total invoice amount. And then finally, I want to look at my actual strategy within my pricing, where I take my whole company and I decide how much will be profit, how much will be marketing, how much will be expansion capital. I have to plan for these things. And the only way to plan for these things is to sell at the right amount, not the competitive amount, the right amount, which was researched, and planned properly. If you do these things, you will not have any pricing problems. So I really hope this has been valuable to you. Leave a comment below and I'll see if I can help you further. Cheers for now.